up with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hello friends, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. Namaste and welcome. Bienvenue la chaîne. Welcome. Today we're talking about Chelsea's sponsor. As you can see, I'm wearing the new kit. Sponsorless. Yes. Very excited to buy the kit without a sponsor. Although it's not the Vaporwave. As you can see, it's a bit of a loose fit. But that's alright, because I'm of the age and shape now where loose fit suits me just fine. Although I did get the... Oh, that's not up there. The training kit. It's a little bit more fitted. Hopefully I'll get the muscles back and then I can look good again. Anyway, Infinite Athlete, Matt Law of The Telegraph is writing Chelsea are confident a deal will finally be done. So here along the chest, you will see Infinite Athlete. Yeah, we're going to get into that today. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for the continued support. Bing, 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 bing. I am, of course, uploading on Football Yannick, my second channel, talking about all things football, not just Chelsea. If you're interested, check out Football Yannick on YouTube, this platform. All right, man. So, we're going to jump into it, an article from Matt Law, and talk about that. There is also news popping off that Pochettino's having or planning discussions with Lukaku about the idea, the premise, the outside chance of him maybe agreeing to play for Chelsea or being integrated into the squad because they not necessarily can't do a deal. Now, of course, we know Romelu Lukaku's stance is no, and we know largely the Chelsea fan stance is no. So there's not much to talk on that yet. If that story develops, I will, of course, react to it here. Matt Law writes, Chelsea are still waiting for the green light from the Premier League to formally announce the new 40 million a year shirt sponsor with sports data company Infinite Athlete, but remain hopeful the deal will go ahead. Of course, money-wise, 40 million a year. I think this is the same we had from Free. Bearing in mind when we signed a deal with Free, we were a lot better. I think it's just before we won the Champions League, isn't it? But, you know, we were in Europe. We recently won, I think, the Premier League, and now we've finished mid-table. We're not in any European competition, so to secure a deal of the same financial value is good. Chelsea would have actually hoped to have got more than Free. Excuse me. But, all things considered, where we are, it's actually probably a good deal. It's probably a good deal, man. Infinite Athlete launched only at the start of the month. Yeah, this is a little bit like... Chelsea need a sponsor. Look at this company that's just come out of nowhere. They're understood to provide the Premier League with details of their funding and revenues in a bid to satisfy fair market value rules and get the go-ahead to display the company's logo on the Chelsea shirts. So the fair market rules is proving that that the money's fair, like, because if like Chelsea are getting too much revenue from, I think that's how it works, too much revenue from a sponsor, they go, nah, this ain't fair. I know they do it with transfers as well. If there's like, I think they do it with certain transfers. If like we've used the example of Saudi and Newcastle selling Saint Maximin to the Saudi league, which is owned by the PAF, and although there's no links between Newcastle and Saudi, apparently there's like a independent regulator that goes, no, you can't sell him for 150 million. He's not worth that. Apparently not any of that in the Premier League, though, because Caicedo goes for 115 million quid. So anyway, the private company, which syncs every piece of sports data to allow people to build and develop new products, that sounds very modern. And it sounds very Todd Boehly and Clearlake, doesn't it? They love data. Initially looked at the stadium naming rights across the deals, deals across the globe before making an offer to become Chelsea's new front of shirt sponsor. It is believed Infinite Athlete have told the Premier League that they have already raised hundreds of millions in investment that revenue generated across their investors and backers that also runs into hundreds of millions. Essentially, Infinite Athlete, because they don't make much revenue, so how are they going to, like, I heard Matt Law say on the London is Blue podcast, like, if a company's making like a little bit of revenue, how can they pay 40 million a year to just this one sponsor people? It seems like a long shot there, doesn't it? But yeah, if they've got loads and loads of initial investment from investors, then yeah, that's kind of the outlay, isn't it? Chelsea have started the Premier League without a sponsor on their shirts after the contract with Free expired last summer. A proposed deal with Paramount was blocked, of course, by the Premier League, and we've pulled out of negotiations with Stake, the crypto gambling company Stake. It looks awful, the logo, and it's just a gambling sponsor, which will also be not allowed in a couple of years, the front of shirt gambling sponsor. So it's just a really bad look for Chelsea on all sides. And of course, the Chelsea fans groups sort of protested or proclaimed their disinterest in it. It's a funny way of saying that, isn't it? Chelsea, rightly pulled away. Infinite Athlete have been granted exclusivity to try and clinch the deal they have proposed to Chelsea, with both parties optimistic that the sponsorship will be formalised in time for the company's logo to be worn on the club's players this season. Obviously not by tomorrow for the Luton game, but, hopefully soonish after, maybe by the next weekend. I don't know if that's plausible. I'm just sort of speculating here. Other than simply ruling on the value of the deal, the Premier League have requested information over the funding behind Infinite Athlete, which is a private company, and the investment links may involve Chelsea's co-controllers, owners, Boehly and Ighbali. Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? That's the elephant in the room, why is this company's just manifested a couple of weeks ago and suddenly wants to sponsor Chelsea? Where's the money from? Where's these 100 million investor people? Because this is the exact kind of stuff that allegedly Man City were in for juicing up their sponsors with Man City, finding a way to funnel their own money in and navigate financial fair play. I don't think Chelsea have a bottomless pit of money like Abu Dhabi does, but still, they want to make sure the money's coming in from the right place. Tempus Ex Machina, with whom Chelsea signed a 7-year product partnership in April, acquired Biocore to form Infinite Athlete, whose partners include Silver Lake. So already there's a link to Chelsea with this company that's been formed recently. Silver Lake own more than 18% of the City Football Group and are investors in Fanatics, along with Eldridge, which is the company owned by Boehly Clearlake Capital, who are co-owned by Ighbali, led a $700 million financing round for the Fanatics last year. So there are links. There are links here. But then again, in the same way, when Chelsea was selling, it turned out to only be Koulibaly and Mundy in the end to Saudi, but they wanted to get Ziyech out there as well. We got good fees for those players, and you had people like Gary Neville whinging like, what are their links to the Saudi? How are they doing this? And it turns out there weren't mixed interests there. There are financial links, but this often happens with the big players in the financial world. And I guess is what is being said here is a similar thing. So it's not like, the PIF sponsoring Newcastle one way or another directly, or anything like that. It's like, yeah, of course there are links, but there are going to be links because we are big investors in sports and tiptoeing around that one. Other than the existing links with Chelsea, Infinite Athlete have already got deals with a number of sports leagues across the globe. Okay, so that's kind of helpful, I guess, including the NFL, while the tech-focused golf series founded by Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, TGL announced the partnership. So they've got existing relationships with sports groups. That helps. They're not just popping up out of nowhere and going, we're just going to sponsor Chelsea. Bye. So that's good. Chelsea's product partnership with Tempus, which now operates under the Infinite Athlete umbrella, new front of shirt sponsor, saw them launch Match X technology on the club's app this season, which allows fans to watch back entire games the way they want, accessing player data, tracking, statistics, and graphics. That's cool. I like that. BT Sports or TNT Sports, don't they do that on their app? Like, you can watch goals back from different angles and find, like, XG and stuff like that. I mean, in recent years, I'm getting less interested in that. But back in the day, early Jan the Statman, for the OGs out there, would have loved this kind of stuff. Maybe I still will if I get into it again, but So Infinite Athlete's bid to become Chelsea's new front of shirt sponsor, despite not yet being globally recognised brand, has drawn comparisons to the social finance naming rights deals worth $30 million a year for the Los Angeles Stadium, which was struck in 2019. The company was still considered financially a technology startup. Hey, hold on, let's talk about naming rights. It has been mentioned before that the Chelsea ownership won't look to change necessarily the name of Stamford Bridge, because also it's part of the branding now, isn't it? And it's part of, like, you know, over 100 years old, the fabric, the culture. You'd actually be losing out market value, I reckon, to a degree, if you moved away from the name of Stamford Bridge. But it would be like Infinite Athlete presents Stamford Bridge, or Stamford Bridge presented by or powered by Infinite Athlete. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then I guess it would have Infinite Athlete on the stadium somewhere as well. It won't get rid of Stamford Bridge, so it won't be like, you know, from like hybrid to, like, it won't be like the Emirates or the Etihad Stadium. It won't be like the Infinite Athlete Stadium. It sounds too long as well, isn't it? It will be Stamford Bridge but powered by Infinite Athlete or something like that. And it's just, you know, theory at the moment. It's not like absolutely definitely happening. So yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, guys, I will put it out to you guys. Let me know what you think. Please do use the comment section below. I am, of course, reacting to all developing stories here on the channel, so please do consider subscribing. Because, you know, if Lukaku comes back, we're going to need to talk about that. And these other things as well we're going to have to talk about. We're not done in the transfer market, so we'll have a look at all that kind of stuff. I'm diversifying content a little bit. I'm making more different kind of videos. And yeah, like I said, if you guys think you'd be interested in my opinions on non-Chelsea related stuff, please do consider going to subscribe to Football Yannick, my second channel. Nearly on, I think we're just about to hit 12,000 subscribers. I recorded a 4th video on the channel today. I wiped it clean, got all the other videos off there, and I spoke about how perhaps the Premier League won't be competitive again until Guardiola leaves. But I've spoken about all kinds of stuff on there, even snuck a Chelsea video in there from a less, hopefully, biased point of view. So thanks for joining me, and keep it locked, and I'll be back very soon.